While President Obama is pledging to cut U.S. greenhouse gas emissions as much as 28% in the next 10 years, some in Washington are calling for more decisive action. Cronkite News reporter Elizabeth Blackburn is live at the U.S. Capitol with one Arizona lawmaker rallying for that cause.
I'm here with Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva. He has introduced a resolution that is calling on the U.S. to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to zero by 2050. Congressman, can you tell me a little bit about the resolution?
Well, the resolution is timed to at the beginning of the Paris Summit on climate change, where 194 nations and all the world leaders, President Obama and all the world leaders are going to be there, diplomats, with the intention of how do we come to grips with this reality of climate change, the greenhouse gas effect, the role that humanity plays in that issue, and the dire consequences if we don't do anything about it, and to come to some agreements. Our resolution calls for some ambitious goals to be set, probably goes further than the president goes on this, but with the intention of really making an impact by 2050. So we're at zero level in terms of emissions. 2030, where half our electrical power comes from renewable and alternative energy, and setting goals on how you make that transition for workers, for our society as a whole, for our infrastructure, and how we begin to reformat the way we live in a sense. And so our resolution, with 20 original co-sponsors at this point, I'm sure we're going to get many more members of Congress, is with the intention of setting an ambitious agenda and having the American people come to grips with the reality of what climate change means at this moment, the dire consequences that could bestow this planet if we don't do something, and to begin to look at adaptation and how we mitigate the fact that this is happening. It's irreversible if we don't do anything. It's controllable if we take some bold steps to begin to deal with climate change.
And some of your critics would say that this is a job killer. What would you say to them?
Well, we realize that that's going to be one of the points that is brought up. We have a big section about retraining, how we deal with the workers, how we deal with that workforce. To those that claim it's a job killer, it's also, in the long run, not doing anything about climate change is going to have major devastation in terms of societal cost, workers and their jobs, because climate change, if it's not reversed and controlled, begins to dominate everything else we do, and that's going to be expensive. And the jobs that we're talking about being lost are the first jobs that'll be sacrificed in terms of an emergency situation, trying to come to grips with the fact that climate change is upon us and we haven't done anything about it.
Thank you, Congressman. The caucus resolution comes as the House is expected to vote tomorrow on Senate resolutions that express disapproval of EPA proposals to reduce power plant emissions. Live at the U.S. Capitol, Elizabeth Blackburn, Cronkite News.